In an era of ultra-polished remakes and ray-trace spectacle, sometimes the raw challenge of a classic 16-bit shooter is all you need. Today, we're diving deep into Gradius III on the Super Nintendo, an ambitious, punishing, and utterly mesmerizing space odyssey that still commands respect in 2025. Gradius III originally hit arcades in 1989, a time when Konami was pushing the limits of side-scrolling shooters. When it arrived on the Super Nintendo in 1991, it brought intense action but also noticeable slowdown, something critics and players debated for years. Fast forward to today, and this Super Nintendo gem still stands as a fascinating chapter in shmup history. But does it hold up? When Gradius III launched on the Super Nintendo in 1991, following its arcade debut in 1989, reviews were mixed. While many praised its customizable weapon loadouts and classic Gradius gameplay, others criticized its brutal difficulty and slowdown issues. Some critics felt the Super Nintendo version was a step down from the arcade original, noting that Konami had to tone down the difficulty slightly. However, even with adjustments, Gradius III remained one of the hardest shooters of its time. IGN later reflected on this, stating that the arcade version was so tough that Konami recalled some units due to its unforgiving difficulty. Meanwhile, GameFAQs reviews highlight how players in the early 2000s still debated whether the slowdown was a flaw or a blessing in disguise. Fast forward to 2025, and Gradius III is still a fascinating relic of the Super Nintendo era. With modern emulation and patches, players can experience the game without slowdown, making it closer to the arcade original. But for purists, the Super Nintendo version remains a nostalgic challenge worth revisiting. Gradius III is not here to coddle you. The level design thrives on memorization, quick reflexes, and ruthless enemy patterns. One mistake, back to square one with barely any power-ups. But beneath its brutal exterior is a deeply satisfying progression, especially when you master its unique weapon loadouts. Even with hardware limitations, Gradius III pulls off stunning backgrounds, detailed sprite work, and a soundtrack that elevates every moment. Tracks like Departure for Space still hit hard, proving that great chiptune compositions never age. With access to modern emulation, speed patches, and ROM hacks that reduce slowdown, Gradius III is better than ever. Whether you're playing it on original hardware or experimenting with enhancements, the Super Nintendo version holds a unique charm, one that modern shmups rarely replicate. Is Gradius III for everyone? Absolutely not. But if you're the kind of player who thrives on challenge, precision, and iconic arcade vibes, it's an experience worth revisiting, even in the era of AI-powered gaming. Old-school difficulty, unforgettable design, and a soundtrack that still resonates. What more could a retro fan ask for? So, have you played Gradius III, and what did you think about it? Please like if you enjoyed this review, and if you are interested in following this journey through retro games, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. See you next time for a review of Super Mario World. Bye.